We're going to get started. If everybody can get a seat. Thank you. A lot of visiting. Okay, I want to call a regular meeting to order. Announce that the board did meet in closed session, and we took action that we approved Jane Ross as Director of Career Technical Education and Educational Options. Today's meeting is being video recorded and will be available at the district's YouTube channel. And the blue cards are available at the table to my right outside boardroom. Anyone who wishes to address the board. If you wish to address the board, complete a card and hand it to a staff member at the table to my right. Please be sure to indicate whether the matter you want to address on the agenda or not on the agenda. If the matter's on the agenda, we'll assume you'll speak when it comes time to address that, and we will hold your card until then. Okay, we have the Pledge of Allegiance this afternoon from Prairie Elementary School. And I want to call on Miss Claudia Uristi Gutierrez. She's here with her family. And Laura's not in principal. You're pinch hitting for her. Okay. Thank you. And we'll go ahead and say a few nice things about you first. Prairie Elementary School is honored to recognize Ms. Claudia Uristi Gutierrez as an educational partner. Ms. Uristi Gutierrez has 3 wonderful children who attend Prairie Elementary School. As Jose Gordo, and he's in the 2nd grade, and Enrique David in the 1st grade, and Christiane Emmanuel in the kindergarten. You can see all 3 of the young men up front here. While at Prairie, Mrs. Uristi Gutierrez has been unavailable to support many teachers. She's happily, enthusiastically does whatever teachers ask her to do. Mrs. Uristi Gutierrez is a constant presence in the school site. You can find her in the classroom helping students, reading to her son, volunteering for field trips, and even playing soccer with students at recess. Mrs. Uristi Gutierrez has a contagious smile and is very positive with not only her sons, but also all of the Prairie students. She is always willing to lend a hand wherever she is needed. We look forward to our continued educational partnership with Mrs. Uristi Gutierrez, and we thank her from the bottom of our hearts for all she does for all of our students. We thank you, and we'll have the pledge now. Everybody stand, remove caps.
Please stand. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one mission, under God, indivisible, and justice for all.
Good job.
Please be seated.
Thank you.
It's going down there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, this is my husband, Jose. His dad. Yes. Come here, you guys, friend. Thank you. Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start with our high school representative reports. I want to call on Florin High School.
Good, good evening, President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, and Ms. Avalos. My name is Tiara Maxwell, ASB President,
And my name is Elisa Gonzalez, ASB Vice President.
and it is our pleasure to be here for the first time tonight representing Florin High.
A big part of what Florin has been trying to do this year is focus on our culture building, building relationships, and connecting everyone to the school. Students, teachers, admin, staff, parents, and the community. We started off the school year by having a very successful freshman orientation before school began with over 300 families attending.
We also had our senior picnic, which was on September 26th, which was an amazing outcome, with the record breaking of participation and attendance of at least 300 seniors. We were grateful to have deputies come out and help serve lunch and play games with the seniors, making memories with us that we will never forget. We also kicked off with an awesome guest speaker, Keith Hawkins, followed by music. Having teachers and senior students make memories with each other before we go off into the real world was an unforgettable moment for everyone, including myself.
After senior picnic, homecoming was in full effect, starting with homecoming Monarch Royalty nominations.
This year's theme was Let the Games Begin, inspired by board games. Yes, we did board games, and it was awesome. We did a homecoming teachers competition week, which teachers partnered with other staff in their third and fourth period class, To watch how teachers and staff could get so competitive but still be able to bond with the students at Florin High was amazing.
We ended homecoming week with on a very positive note, having nearly 600 students at the dance, and that's the best we've had.
Don't forget, it was the highest number of students at a foreign homecoming dance in the last decade.
How could I forget? It was the best turnout.
On October 29th, we had our third annual Pumpkin Derby, which is a student and teacher competition where we race pumpkins. And yes, at Florin High, we race pumpkins, and it gets real. And let me tell you, it was a pantherific day for everyone. But this year was a little different. I was able to have an amazing partner who seemed to be very competitive and also very strategic, and my partner was Superintendent Christopher Hoffman, who I enjoyed doing my pumpkin with. Our theme was Harley Quinn and the Joker. Of course, he dressed up as the Joker, and I dressed up as Harley Quinn. At the end, we placed third. It's okay, we still placed, and we got a prize.
Nuestro departamento de español celebró su evento anual de Día de los Muertos el 1 de noviembre. Our Spanish department hosted their annual Día de los Muertos Expo November 1st. This event is a school-wide cultural and festive event featuring a play, dancing, face paint, artwork, music, tortillas, and an altar, all in honor of our past loved ones. The best part was that other departments got involved, including band, English, and culinary.
As for academies, academics, and clubs, we have Law, IT, FFA, Ag, IYT Brotherhood, and Key Club, and so much more.
Club Rush was on September 29th. It was such a great day for students to get informed and connected to a club that may interest them. Speaking of clubs, Fall Rally North is a spirited, fun, spiritual, and memorable gathering of all the districts throughout California where key clubbers from all over come to celebrate our district fundraising efforts for the pediatric trauma program. During this event, all the districts had to cheer, chant, and show the most spirit. The best spirited division wins a spirit stick and bragging rights. During this event, all the districts, the best spirited division wins the spirit stick. I said that right. This year, Florin High School's Key Club won the Spirit Stick, competing against other districts and regional schools. Pretty cool, am I right?
Most definitely. In addition, our IT Academy is being sponsored by Amazon's Future Engineer program. This program helps inspire, educate, and train students to pursue careers in the computer science. This program is allowing Foreign High School to add 2 new AP Computer Science classes to our school. Another one of our academies, Ag Tech, had a really good summer. FFA student Ajane Phillips won the grand championship for the Market Rabbit competition at the State Fair. She was awarded top honor of all of California. Pretty fantastic, if I do say so myself.
Speaking of Florentastic, another area of our school we are doing very well in is band competitions, placing third in every competition we've been in. The scores we've earned this year have been the best and highest Floren has ever received.
I heard about that. Congratulations. We would also like to congratulate our women's volleyball team for making it to playoffs, placing second in the Greater Sacramento League. Our Lady Panthers played hard and strong, and we are very proud of them all. That same night, after the long and tiring practices, our tennis Lady Panthers' hard work paid off when they won the GSL champions, led by current teacher, foreign alumni, Mr. Sokia Chan, also Coach of the Year, who was awarded Coach of the Year. To say they had a great season would be an understatement. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight to speak to you all, and now you know.
And I know
That every day is a great day to be a Panther. For sure.
Thank you. Good report. Okay, consume Ms. Oaks.
Good evening, Board President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, and Ms. Avalos. My name is Sansara Shergill.
And my name is Mai Kan Nguyen, and we're representing the Mighty Wolfpack. This year, we have had many academic accomplishments, including 853 students on the principal's honor roll. Our freshmen are off to a great start, with 234 earning a 3.75 or higher in their first term. We recognize 619 sophomores, juniors, and seniors with certificates and pins for their dedication in maintaining a 3.75 during the previous year.
We'd like to introduce our theme of the year, Connect. After deliberating over summer, our ASB class decided upon this word to shape our mindset for the year. With this in mind, we tailor our events to encompass the interests and passions of all students and to build a bond amongst the entire school where everyone feels included.
Speaking of Connect, Link Crew Freshman Orientation was hosted on August 9th, where they welcomed incoming students into the pack through an interactive campus tour, useful advice, and games to promote unity. The second day of school was our Welcome Back rally, which included performances by Bunker Fusion, K-pop club, hype dance team, cheer, and our very own band. At CO, we really do mean it when we say every rally is a multicultural rally, because our cultural clubs always are featured in the performances. Our very own cheer was also featured on Sowiti's Instagram page, a popular singer, and it went viral. At the end of August, our Club Rush provided students with the opportunity to explore our diverse atmosphere and find a home within the Wolfpack. We had clubs ranging from Black Student Union, anime, chess, breakdance, MedPros, and Bunker Fusion, just to name a few.
We started off September with Homecoming Float Building and Spirit Week. Our theme this year was Battle of the Bands. The freshmen celebrated Jimi Hendrix, sophomores had AC/DC, the juniors were the Beatles, and the seniors portrayed Queen. Throughout the week, the classes worked tirelessly on their floats and showed off their skits at the homecoming parade. This year, at our homecoming rally, we changed our royalty to expand the court and recognize students with unique talents. These included traits such as spirited, academic, best dressed, most musical, and so on. The purpose of this change was to be more inclusive in recognizing traits and achievements instead of simple popularity.
Our fall rally was on October 1st, and it included special performances from Martial Arts Club, Poly Club, Hype, and our very own Powder Puff cheerleaders. Speaking of Powder Puff, the seniors and sophomores took home the win. Our Powder Puff cheerleaders also showcased their hard work with a well-choreographed routine and stunts during halftime.
We also had our first Unity Day of the year with over 80 participants. They enjoyed games that were designed to help foster a deeper connection amongst the student body, like First Impressions, which highlighted the misconceptions behind stereotypes, and team bonding events such as life-size tic-tac-toe and a dance battle.
What do you get when you combine students, teachers, pumpkins, and crafts? A pumpkin palooza. Our annual Pumpkin Palooza returned this year with pumpkins decorated as Rapunzel, Hamilton, and our very own AP Bio teacher took home the win with his colorful feathered creation, which paid homage to his love of birds. The goal of these teacher-student collaborations is to promote a deeper connection between COHS staff and the student body, as well as a sense of community within our school.
Our 80s themed parent luncheon was just 2 weeks ago. Parents were ecstatic to spend time with their beloved children at school, while the students were more ecstatic for free food. We covered the cafeteria with themed posters, a life-size Rubik's Cube, and had a special performance from band. Welga, the title of our fall play, was a huge success this year with over 254 attendees. Our VAPA Academy worked closely with the original playwright of this play to be the first high school to ever premiere it in the country. This performance follows the coming-of-age story of a Filipino-American teenage boy with dreams of becoming a musician. The hope of the theater department was to tell a tale that would resonate with the struggles that students of diverse backgrounds encounter.
The athletic department at Cosumnes Oaks had an excellent fall season. Our varsity football team finished with an overall record with 7-3. The team had impressive wins over Monterey Trail and Elk Grove. In addition, they earned a number 2 seed in the CIF Joaquin Section Division II playoffs and will host the winner of Granite Bay and Downey on November 15th at Cosumnes Oaks. Moreover, for his efforts against Elk Grove, Brandon Jennings won the Sacramento Bees Player of the Week. Our girls varsity volleyball team finished with an overall record of 29-9. In the CIF Sac Joaquin section semifinal match, the team lost a hard-fought match to St. Francis. The girls will continue their season while they begin tournament play in the CIF state playoffs on Tuesday, November 12th. At the Cross Country League Championships, our girls team upset Davis, and they finished second behind St. Francis. The boys team finished third behind Jesuit and Davis. Next, our girls golf team and our girls tennis team both finished fifth in league play. Finally, we have 4 student athletes who will be signing their national letter of intent on Wednesday, November 13th. For softball, Kennedy Eccles will be attending Sacramento State, and Cameron Thomas will be attending the University of California, Berkeley. Haley Berta will be attending Stanislaus State for volleyball, and Cameron Walty will be attending University of Nevada, Reno for baseball.
Thank you for your continued support, and remember that the strength of the pack is the wolf.
And the strength of the wolf is a pack. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. I want to recognize the fine principals of these schools, Juan Hiraki and Rudy Ortega. Thank you. And with that, the high school representative, you can be excused right now to your homework. Thank you. Okay, I want to call on Dr. Grewal on Carroll Elementary School, recognition for Anne Frank, a History for Today exhibit, and supported by Mrs. Sheriff Espinoza.
Good evening, President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, and Ms. Avalos. Joining me is Karen Burnett, first grade teacher from Carroll Elementary. Karen, can you come on up here? And Vice Principal Michelle Fennell. The principal, Jack Ferreira, is out of state for today. The international exhibition Anne Frank, A History for Today has traveled all over the world and is presented more than 300 times per year. The worldwide tour is sponsored by the Dutch Consulate of San Francisco and the Anne Frank House of Amsterdam, Netherlands. Carroll Elementary School was one of the first elementary schools allowed to display the exhibit. Karen Burnett, an amazing first grade teacher, was instrumental in implementing this opportunity for students, families, and community to embrace tolerance, build empathy, and inspire positive change. 8 5th and 6th grade students from Carroll Elementary were recommended to act as docents for the tour. These student docents were trained during 2 full-day training sessions by the staff of Anne Frank House. The exhibits included 31 6-foot panels telling the story of Anne Frank against the background of the Holocaust and the Second World War. Classes were scheduled for 1-hour tours in which the docents provided intensive historical information and answered questions. Also on display was the Bandage Project, a 10-year project that collected over 1.5 million bandages, which have a handwritten child's name on each one. These names represent children who lost their lives during the Holocaust. Carroll Elementary collected over 20,000 of those bandages. First grade students counted the bandages, and third through sixth grade students printed the students' names. Additionally, there was artwork was displayed and represented quotes from Anne Frank's diary and her life. And these art pieces were created by students from Carroll, Toby Johnson, and Joseph Kerr Middle Schools. The Elk Grove Unified School District Board of Education would like to recognize the students of Carroll Elementary, teacher Karen Burnett, and Vice Principal Michelle Fennell. All right, and the students, Tiana Nguyen. Zoe Milburn. Abigail Finney. Sophia Carrillo. Morgan Asuncion. Devin Sharp. And Gavin Haymond.
Can I make a comment? Yeah, Mr. President, I'd like to make a comment. It's great that we're giving recognition to those that were involved in the Anne Frank exhibit. What I'd like to say is that I had the opportunity to attend, and 4 of the students here were my docents for the morning. I was impressed. I was impressed by the knowledge that they had, and I was impressed by how they articulated that knowledge, and I was impressed by their ability to answer questions. They were absolutely super.
Thank you, Mr. Fortuna. Thank you. Another round of applause. Okay, I'd like to call on the academic recognition for the fall student athletes and coaches. Rod Edmondson, assisted by Mr. Fortuna.
Good evening, President Madison, members of the school board, Superintendent Hoffman, Ms. Avalos. Before I begin the fall GPA recognition this evening, I would like to make an announcement. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. here in the district boardroom, we will be holding our fall national letter of intent signing. The district has 19 student athletes receiving athletic scholarships to Division I and Division II universities tomorrow. The athletes signing tomorrow will represent 5 of our high schools in the district. The 19 student athletes signing their letter of intent is the largest group that we've had since I've been the athletic director in the Elk Grove Unified School District. With that being said, this evening I'm honored to present to you the fall team GPA champions of the Elk Grove Unified School District. These student athletes excel not only in their athletic activity, but also in the classroom. The following teams had the highest GPA at their school this fall. At this time, I would like to introduce the coach and the captains of our GPA champions. Consumnes Oaks High School, women's tennis 4.1 team GPA. Coach Chris Wall, captains Violet Kwan and Nadine Ganzon. Principal of Consumnes Oaks High School, Juan Hadagi. Elk Grove could not make it tonight. They had another commitment, but the team that won the GPA was women's volleyball, 3.61 GPA. Floor and I think Dr. Eugene Christmas is here, the principal of the school, Elk Grove High School. Florin High School women's tennis, 3.95 team GPA. Coach Sakthia Chan and captains Tanya De La Torre and Yvonne Wu. Principal of Florin High School, Rudy Ortega. Franklin High School, water polo, team GPA 4.07. Coach Angie Nelson. Captains Rachel Ichimaru and Madeline Madsen. The principal of Franklin High School is Chantel Albiani. Laguna Creek High School, women's tennis, team GPA 3.96. Captain Brian Brown, Coach Brian Brown, and captains Clarissa Chewy. Principal of Laguna Creek High School, Doug Craig. That's it, picture time.
Thank you.
Monterey Trail High School, women's tennis, team GPA 4.2, Coach Lindsay Harder, captains Diane Dang, Carmen Lowe. Principal of Monterey Trail High School, Laura Ricks. Pleasant Grove High School, women's tennis, team GPA 3.96, Coach Linda Shepard, captains Rachel Hong and Sophia Wang. Principal of Pleasant Grove High School, Tegan Keplinger. Sheldon High School, women's tennis, team GPA 3.91, Coach Maggie Keeler, captains Katie Yang and Sherry Newen. Principal of Sheldon High School is Paula Duncan. In Valley High School, women's tennis, team GPA 3.78, Coach Tung Lee, captains Jana Lee and Brittany Ing. Principal of Valley High School is Richard Gutierrez.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rod. Okay, I'd like to call on Kathy Hamilton, Toby Johnson Middle School and Monterey Trail High School, cybersecurity recognition.
Good evening, board members, President Madison, Superintendent Hoffman, and Ms. Avalos.
And assisted by,
I'm here tonight, first of all, to introduce you to a couple of our cybersecurity teams, one from middle school and one from high school, who accomplished some significant achievements last spring during the end of the school year competitions. First, I would like to invite Ryan North, the coach of Toby Johnson's cybersecurity team, up. Ryan, here comes Ryan. Mr. North's team, Toby Johnson's team, placed 8th out of 1,200 middle school teams in the middle school division of the 11th annual National Cyber Patriot competition. This is a competition that is sponsored every year by the Air Force Association, and it focuses on cyber defense practices, which I'm sure you can agree are important skills for our students to be building. So I am going to ask if Ryan will please introduce his students and have them come up. Go.
Should be all 5 there. Yep. So the kids on this team are just incredible. Oh, thank you. So it's a really special group of kids to place 8th in the nation, and I'm sure we'll be paying them a lot of money someday to keep our system secure. So first off is Kevin Liu. Next is David Zhao. And there's 3 more. There's 3 more. It's Jason and Raphael. And this one. There you go. Yeah, Raphael and Jason, and then Joshua. All right. Next is Raphael Bastas. And Joshua Genzon. And I hate to single anyone out because this whole team is incredible, but there's an extra special competitor on this team. He's one of the top kids I've ever coached in the program, and he's incredible. So Jason Huang.
And Mr. North just shared with me that 3 of these students are 8th graders at Toby Johnson, so they'll be competing again, I would imagine. And 2 have now advanced to Franklin High School. So you want me to do the next group? Okay. Oh, Principal Adam Wood.
yeah, parents, if you want to take some photos, you can come up closer. Thank you. Good job.
Next, I'd like to invite Skip Brewer to come up. He, as you probably know, is a very important member of our school district's tech services department. In fact, he keeps our data secure. He is also, I'm not sure if your official title is coach, mentor, guru, all of the above.
All the above. Yes.
For Monterey Trail High School's cybersecurity program. And they also annually participate in Cyber Patriot, but they do more than that. And so he's going to introduce to you tonight some students who participated in spring 2019 in the state's Girls Go Cyber Start competition, where they placed second in one of the competitions. And I didn't make a note about exactly which skill that they were demonstrating. Also, one of their members was awarded a $500 scholarship from CyberStart. So with that, I'll turn this over to Skip.
Thank you very much. It's been my honor for the last 7 years to work with the students of Monterey Trail's Data Cyber Club. Through those years, they performed fantastically. They've been recognized at the State Assembly and the State Senate. They've been recognized 3 times by the State Department of Technology for their performance. In this particular case, as you probably are aware, most STEM fields are vastly underrepresented by women. So the Girls Go Cyber Start program is designed to bring young women into the field of cybersecurity. And these girls didn't just participate, they excelled. And I'm very proud to be associated with them. I wish I could take the credit, but I can't. To begin with, I'd like to recognize this year's president of Data Cyber, Ms. Melinda Dow. Next, I'd like to recognize Ms. Emmy Den. Ms. Julie Tran. Ms. Karen Huang. And I'd like to say that the Girls Go Cyber Start competition was actually a national competition, so they competed against teams all across the nation. They finished second in the state of California. And I'd like to recognize Ms. Yanmei Kai, who won a $500 scholarship for her performance.
Skip just shared with me that all five of these students are still enrolled at Monterey Trail, so we can probably expect great things next spring from them in the competitions. And Principal Riggs?
Okay, thank you. Wonderful job.
And finally, with our cybersecurity programs and these competitions that you've been learning about tonight, none of this is possible without community volunteers and regional coordination. And so we have some adults that we'd also like to recognize. I'm going to start with Sean McNally. And Sean McNally is a veteran math teacher at Elk Grove High School. He is also for what, the third or fourth year now, Sean? Fifth year?
Since 2011.
Okay, well, all right. I can't do my math. He is not only Elk Grove cybersecurity coach, he is our regional coordinator, he's our district coordinator and our regional coordinator countywide. And currently is supported by a grant that we have from SCOE to coordinate this for many, many schools in our region. So thank you, Sean. Can you, just in case I need help with what some of these people help, can you stay here?
Certainly.
Okay. All right. Kevin Spees. Is Kevin a mentor for Toby, right?
You've been around. Which one do you want to name today?
Oh, both? Okay. So Kevin Spees is one of our community mentors that works with students. George Valencia is another community member who mentors students at Toby Johnson.
George also mentors at Kerr Middle School, where my daughter goes.
And you've already met Skip Brewer. Skip, if you can come back up and be recognized in your own right for the work that you've done. And then I don't know if either of them are here tonight, but we have two very important community college partners. John Buddy Spisak, who has been a professor at Cosumnes River College and annually hosts a summer cybersecurity camp.
He was not available to come tonight. He is preparing for our Sorry Patriot Lecture Series, which is this Thursday.
And finally, Marcus Geisler, who is the Regional Deputy Sector Navigator for Information and Communication Technology and a huge supporter of all things associated with cybersecurity. And there is Marcus. Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Good job.
Are you ready?
Are you up? Oh, you're up next. Okay, our Futures Farmers of America, student recognition assisted by Mrs. Albiani.
All right. So we'll segue into another one of our strong industry sector educational programs in Elk Grove Unified, our agriculture students and their teachers. As you know, we have 4 high schools that offer a variety of educational pathways and participate in a number of local, regional, statewide, and national FFA competitions. And so we're going to ask them to come forward and have you recognize their students for their performance in competitions in the spring and summer of 2019, and then the recently completed national FFA competition that was held back east in October. So I'm going to start, we'll go through this alphabetically, and I'll start with Elk Grove High School. Their coordinator is Mike Albiani. Mike, if you could come up, please.
President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, and members of the community, it is with great pleasure that I present a wrap of the 2018-19 FFA Honors and Awards. This presentation covers many months and represents activities from our supervised agricultural experiences, our leadership development program, and our career development events winners. The events being covered are the State Leadership Conference in April, the California State FFA CDE Finals in May, the Sacramento County Fair and State Fair, and the National FFA Convention and Career Expo just 2 weeks ago. I would like to start by highlighting some of the activities that were SAE and fair related before moving on to those that were state and national winners. The county fair is a big event for the Elk Grove FFA with over 170 student projects being exhibited, and Elk Grove had its share of winners. Our students exhibited the Spring Champion Steer, the Champion Single Fryer Rabbit, Champion Reserve, Champion Yorkshire Market Hogs, and both the Champion Boar and Gilt in the breeding show, plus the Champion Reserve Champion Market Eggs. Our members won both large and small Animal Master Showmanship, which allowed them to represent the county in the All Counties event at the State Fair. Other members won numerous classes, and the community came out in large numbers to support all of the student exhibitors in the junior livestock auction, and we really appreciate their support. The second large SAE event of the summer was the California State Fair. Elk Grove members showed both small and large animals as well as numerous indoor exhibits in the food preservation and canning divisions. State Fair highlights include State Fair Small Animal Master Showmanship winner, all counties round robin small and large animal competitions, second place in rabbit showmanship, 3 best of division food processing awards, 3 best of class awards, numerous first place awards, and both the second and third place in the sweepstakes. In career development events, our chapter had both state and national success this year. In agri-science, there were 7 state winners that were submitted to nationals, including the Outstanding Novice Project and the State Champion Agri-Science Presentation Team. Our Creed speakers exceeded all expectations by placing 3 speakers in the top 6 and capturing the state title, which was won by Isabella Albiani. Rounding out the conference, 2 seniors earned state scholarship awards, and one of our members entertained the crowd as talent. In San Luis Obispo State FFA Finals, the chapter continued its winning ways, winning both the Best Informed Green Hand State title with the first and second high individuals, but also the State Champion Farm Business Management Team title with the team members placing 1st through 4th. We also placed 5th in the marketing plan. Many of the state winners went on to represent California at the National FFA Conference the last weekend of October in Indianapolis, and there were some very impressive results. With over 65,000 members and guests in attendance, Elk Grove held their own. In agri-science, Elk Grove had all of its projects in the top 10, with 2 placing 5th, 2 4th, and 1 recognized on stage as the 3rd place national project. Our FFA Quiz Bowl team placed 4th, and Samantha Albiani was 3rd high individual in the nation. The Farm Business Management team earned a silver ranking, but the highlight for many of us was Isabella Albiani winning the National Creed Contest, a feat never done before in this community. We had a great year, but none of it would have been possible without the support of the Board of Education, District and School Administration, the parents and community members, and the outstanding agricultural staff of Amy Ehrman, Shannon Welch, Colleen Lawson, Courtney Wright, Sierra Myers, and Wes Messer. Many of our recipients are unable to attend tonight because of sports commitments and the fact that the graduates all are off at college or working. So this group that I will present will represent the 49 honorees that our chapter has this evening. I will now present the student winners. Abigail Jacobson, Cassidy Watson, Amber Howe, Ainsley Feaster, Sophia Albiani, Samantha Albiani, Macy Clement, Morgan Peak. I'll work better at that. Lauren Ward. Eden Hemming. Isabel Alves. Isabella Albiani. And Delaney Kingston. I missed one. I missed it. Yep.
Might be stuck next to
No,
somebody else. Oh, there's, wait, come back.
Sorry.
Would you like to say her name while we...
I think it's stuck to one of theirs. Oh, Aaron Garrett. Thank you very much.
Okay, move on up to take your photos, parents.
Sheila, Sheila Folan, if you'd like to come up while the picture's being taken. Oh, Eugene Christmas, did you want, oh, you are here. Okay. Okay, I know your students are all ready.
Yeah, this is another group. Thank you, wonderful job. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, and Ms. Avalos. We are indeed proud to stand before you this evening to recognize some outstanding achievements for Florin FFA during this last calendar year and into this fall. We also recognize the level of support that you provided each and every one of our students at Florin High School and in the district at large to rise to these great honors, and we value that and appreciate it each and every day in the classroom. This evening, I would first like to introduce our State Fair winner, Miss Aujane Phillips. Aujane received a first ever honor at our school with the Supreme Grand Champion Rabbit of the state of California, which qualified her then into the Sale of Champions. And it was a tremendous honor for her where she had taken our project to a whole new level in the rabbit area. I'd like to follow that recognition by our chapter vice president, who rose to all new levels by being the Sacramento section FFA president for this year, having been elected in May. Her reign will continue throughout this calendar year. That means that she coordinates the efforts at 10 local high schools for the Sacramento section of the FFA. Ms. Juliana Parra, would you please join us? And finally, our president of our FFA chapter, Ms. Veronica Vega, has been invited this evening to receive our chapter award. We were awarded a national chapter at the recent National FFA Convention, and it is an award that encompasses all of the activities, the events, and the student participation for throughout the year. And we would like to thank Veronica for picking that up for our chapter this evening. I'd like to also thank my colleague, Ms. Carlin Ruth, for joining me this evening and passing out awards, and thank Ms. Kathy Hamilton for directing our CTE education. Once again, thank you for your continued support of agriculture education in the Elk Grove School District. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Rudy, yeah, Principal Rudy Ortega.
Parents, you can come forward, take photos.
And now I'd like to invite Ms. Jessica Forster up from Pleasant Grove High School to introduce their student winners.
Good evening, President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, parents, students, and guests. It is an honor to be here this evening and that you have taken time out to recognize the hard efforts of all of our FFA students and their achievements this past spring and summer. Most of our students who achieved honors at the Sacramento County Fair and the California State Fair are here with us this evening. Some, however, are away at college, at full-time working jobs here in the Elk Grove area, or at current sports practices at the high school. Students not here this evening achieved honors such as the Sacramento County Fair Reserve Supreme Champion Steer, the Reserve Supreme Champion Rabbit, the Reserve Best of Show Breeding Rabbit, and the Best of Breed for the Californian Rabbits. With us this evening to recognize the fair accomplishments is Ms. Katie Matsumoto. Katie's list of achievements at the Sacramento County Fair include the Reserve Champion English Breeds Breeding Heifer, the Reserve Champion FFA Goat Showman, the Champion FFA Sheep Showman, the Reserve Champion Best of Show Breeding Doe, and the Reserve Supreme Champion Market Lamb. In addition to the Sacramento County Fair, her state fair achievements include the Champion Dorper Market Lamb, which earned her a spot in the Sale of Champions, the Reserve Champion FFA Weather Showman, and the Reserve Champion FFA Doe Showman in the entire state of California. In addition to our animal-based projects, we had several students who participated in agri-science fair projects this year, which allowed them to design and implement an agri-science research projects to help solve a real-world problem in the agricultural industry. There are several students not here this evening who are at other commitments that studied things such as the effect of safeguard on gastrointestinal parasites, the effects of muscle and motion of broiler muscling, and the effects of keeping on broiler weight gain through several projects completed during the fall of last year at our school. This evening, to recognize our agri-science fair students, we have Ms. Maya Adams, who is a state champion novice individual. Ms. Carmen Ma, who was a reserve state champion discovery individual. And Ms. Isadora Murphy, who was a state champion discovery team. On behalf of the over 375 students enrolled in the Pleasant Grove High School Agricultural Department, as well as our department staff and Pleasant Grove High School as a whole, we want to thank you for your continued support of agricultural education as it strives to maintain a positive difference in the lives of students through premier leadership, personal growth, and career success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tegan Kiplinger, Principal.
Thank you. Good job.
And finally, tonight I'd like to invite Sheldon High School's new coordinator up, Chelsea Schneider.
Good evening, President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, and Ms. Avalos. My name is Chelsea Schneider, and I am the department head for the Sheldon High School Agriculture Department. I want to start by saying thank you for the opportunity to recognize our students for their learning outside the classroom, in addition to their personal growth and success. Tonight, I will be recognizing 10 individuals who have gone above and beyond, not just in the classroom, but who have also excelled in extracurricular activities. The first group of people I would like to recognize are our students who received their state FFA degrees. These students have completed a minimum of 500 hours of hands-on agriculture experience, in addition to making at least $1,000. This is a huge accomplishment considering only 3% of California FFA students get to this level of achievement. My students have achieved these requirements through various projects such as small animal care and management, creating their own agribusinesses within their community, and raising animals for the Sacramento County Fair and California State Fair. The Sheldon FFA students I would like to recognize are Ariane Durham, Adam Gutierrez, Mirka Avalos, Malia Ramos, Carissa LaChapelle, our FFA president, Juliana Heidenyak, and our FFA vice president, Cheyenne Myers. The next individuals I would like to recognize could not attend tonight due to other commitments. However, I would still like to recognize them. First is Jessica Chinka, who received her American FFA degree, which requires over 2,000 hours and an additional $500 compared to the state FFA degree. Jessica is a part of the 1% of FFA members who receive their American FFA degree. Malio Ramos is another one of our outstanding students who received a gold award for her veterinary science proficiency at the Western Region level. To achieve this, she had to demonstrate her knowledge of veterinary science through an extensive application and multiple interviews. Finally, I would like to recognize our students who excelled at the Sacramento County Fair. Belle Botello is currently a junior at Sheldon High School who has won many awards at the Sacramento County Fair and State Fair. This last year, Belle was named the Sac County Fair Supreme Champion for her chicken pen. The second student who did exceptionally well at the 2019 Sacramento County Fair is Sophia Smith, who not only won Supreme Champion Turkey, but she was also the showmanship winner for turkeys. Sheldon FFA is extremely proud of our students and all their hard work. I would like to thank you all one more time for supporting our students and the amazing ag programs within our school district. Thank you.
And is Paula Duncan, Principal Paula Duncan here, or another representative from Sheldon's administrative team? All right, thank you. Dave Pierce, Vice Principal.
Thank you. Good job.
And thank you for taking the time tonight to recognize these students and their accomplishments.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, School Psychologist Awareness Week, Mr. Don Ross.
Good evening, President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, and Ms. Avalos. Tonight I'm going to talk about the school psychologists, and we have several of them in the audience right now, so if you don't mind, I'd like to bring them up while I say wonderful things about them.
Absolutely. Come forward.
In addition, Crystal Jones, one of our school psychologists, has some items that she's passing out to you right now. So the National Association of School Psychologists has designated School Psychology Awareness Week as November 11th through the 15th, this week. This year's theme, Find Your Focus, is action-oriented, flexible, and relevant to all age groups. Finding your focus can have a variety of meanings, from paying attention to being able to see an idea more clearly, to identifying an area of interest, or being persistent or determined in one's efforts. Focusing can help set goals, identify action steps, communicate needs, and engage in discussions to help create connections necessary for students to develop critical academic and social-emotional learning skills. School psychologists find their focus by honing in on their leadership in the counseling room,
the classroom, the community, and beyond. School psychologists are uniquely qualified members of school teams that support students' ability to learn and teachers' ability to teach. School psychologists partner with families, teachers, school administrators, and other professionals to create safe, healthy, and supportive learning environments that strengthen connections between home, school, and the community. In recognition of the important role that our school psychologists play in the success of all students, Elk Grove Unified School District Board of Education is asked to approve Resolution number 28, recognizing November 11th through the 15th as National School Psychology Awareness Week. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Ms.
I just wanted to note, while I had so many of you here, the work that you do is, it comes up really often in conversations. I'm sure that wouldn't surprise you, right? Parents, members in the community. But just to give you a couple of examples, at our last meeting, I'm not sure if you guys had a representative. It was one of our all-day meetings. We had 3 of our high school principals and the principals of all of their feeder schools come to talk about what their challenges are. And one of the themes that wove through every single one of those discussions was social emotional learning and the importance of equipping our students for the challenges they face, not just at school, but preparing them for success in life. So we thank you so much for the work that you do. You're a critical part of that team. And thank you for being here so we can thank you in person.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I got something else to say. I echo those also. And I want one person like you in each of our schools, because that's how important I think you are with our students. It's very important that we catch these problems early in their lives, pre-kindergarten, in the community. And again, I want to express to you that I heard a lot of great things, that you nip a lot of problems really quick, and you resolve the problems really quick. As a result of that, we have safe, healthy schools. And thank you for doing a great job.
Okay, with that, I want to call for a motion to adopt Resolution 28 in support of School Psychology Awareness Week during the week of November 11th through the 15th, 2019.
So move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Rob has a fantastic camera, huh?
I think it's the angle.
Thank you once again. Very good job. Very appreciative. Okay, I want to call on the 2020 Census Resolution, Ms. Auntie Pinkerton.
Good evening, President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, and Ms. Avalos. The Elk Grove Unified School District is committed to working in partnership with local civic, business, and community leaders, the state of California, and others to engage, educate, and count every resident in Sacramento County in the 2020 or 2020 census. The 2020 census count of persons living in the County of Sacramento is vital to determine the representation of individuals, families, and communities in our local, state, and federal governments. The 2020 census count of children living in the Elk Grove Unified School District will be the basis of federal education funding allocated to our schools over the next 10 years, specifically the federal programs serving our students living in poverty and students with disabilities. Also, the census does help when it comes to grant writing, so we have an accurate picture of the need that we would have here within our district as well. So with that, the Board of Education is asked to adopt Resolution number 25, which proclaims 2020 as the year of the decennial census in the United States.
Want to call for a motion on that resolution? Moved by Mr. Perez.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fortino. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Request for student expulsion. I want to ask anyone who wishes to address the board in closed session regarding the student expulsion recommendation. Seeing none, I ask for a motion to approve the request for student expulsions. Moved by Ms. Albiani.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fortino. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Denial of expulsion readmission. I want to ask anyone who wishes to address the board in closed session regarding a student being denied readmission from their expulsion. Seeing none, I'll move the readmission committee's recommendation. And a motion?
I move approval of the motion to deny readmission.
And second by Ms. Albiani. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request for return from student expulsion. Want to call for a motion to approve the request for return from student expulsion.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. All right, we have public comments. Caution everybody, you have your 3 minutes. I want to call on Jeremy Garcia. Go ahead, sir. State your name and.
Jeremy Garcia.
Okay.
Good evening, board members, staff, parents, and students. My name is J.R. Garcia. I'm an Elk Grove High School grad and proud resident of Elk Grove, as well as a campus supervisor at Cosumnes Oaks High School. I am here speaking on behalf of the EGUSD campus supervisors to help you understand what we do daily to keep our district, students, staff safe, secure, and able to teach and learn every day. We are usually the first faces the staff and students see in the morning and when they arrive, and one of the last faces they see when they leave the campus. It doesn't matter if it's freezing cold, blistering heat, or raining cats and dogs, we are out there as the first line of defense for each and every school. We hold the safety and security of each student, staff member, and school visitor in our hands every day. We break up fights with the possibility of getting hurt and still work. We get berated by parents, students, and educators who do not understand our role or respect it, and we still work. When there's bad weather outside and everybody else is inside away from the elements, we still work. When something goes wrong, the first question everyone asks, where is security? And yet we still work. We do all this with little recognition, but we are not asking for recognition. As a society changes and violence in our nation's schools becomes all too commonplace, we are the first ones in danger if something was to happen. We are outside in the open wearing these shirts and radios that, God forbid, if a student or someone else were to come on campus with a negative intent, they would know we are the first ones in their way, putting a huge target on our backs with no way to protect ourselves. We all have families that rely on us. When we had a gun scare at my school, my loved ones went through a couple hours of stress knowing that my job and all of our jobs put us in immediate danger. We're doing all this for a wage that, to be honest, is not a living wage when all said and done. I say this with respect for you and your budget constraints. I don't say this to subvert the collective bargaining process, but we deserve more respect and a wage that can allow us to support our families and dignifies the work that we do. We do this job because of the students and the bonds that we make with them over the years with us. We risk our own safety willingly, and we are undercompensated for the services we provide for our students, our schools, and our communities. Please, when you return to the bargaining table, we hope that you instruct your negotiators to provide the compensation that we deserve. Our student safety depends on well-trained, motivated, and a healthy security team. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Celestine Bundy.
Good evening, and I'd like to say good evening to the board. I apologize that I don't know your names. Don't know your names individually, so accept my apology. I'm here representing or speaking on behalf of my grandson, who I'm his grandmother as well as his guardian. His mother's resting in heaven, so he's part of my responsibility. My grandson is very athletic. He has learning disabilities. He struggled with Math 1 from day one. Very little support. He actually ended up failing the class. I filed a complaint. I had met with one principal. I got a call from the attorney here at the district office who facilitated a meeting with myself, my advocate, Doug Phillips. To date, I still haven't received a resolution for my complaint for my grandson not being successful in the Math 1 class.
Excuse me, can you back up 2 statements? I didn't hear you.
Which part?
About who,
That I had
who you were
filed
meeting with.
I filed
Yeah.
a complaint for the lack of support that my grandson received or didn't receive for taking this Math 1 class. I received a call from an attorney Lopez. She facilitated a meeting for me with some of the members from the district office, Doug Phillips. To date, I still have not received a response for a resolution for that Math 1 that I was really disappointed for the lack of support and for the level of the class that he was put in without any choice. He's now a sophomore and he's got to retake this class. The other classes that are slotted for him to go to a D1 college are not going to be something that he could probably be successful in. This is going to diminish his success, his chances of going to D1 college if some of these classes aren't slotted for him so he can be successful like the other students. Right now he's maintaining a B average. He's a great citizen kid, never had any problems out of him. I think this is very time sensitive, and I implore you to really work or really support the fact that we get the right classes in for these kids so they can be successful in school. And that would be specifically the problem-solving class. Right now, the Math 1, he has to repeat. Hopefully, these classes will get implemented by the time he's able to take them as a junior or senior.
Okay, Nikita Henry.
Good evening, Mr. Hoffman and President Mr. Madison and the rest of the board. I am Nikisha Henry, independent advocate. I am specifically representing student athletes with and without learning disabilities tonight. NCAA currently requires 3 years of math to compete at the D1 collegiate level. My son is a senior, attends Sheldon High School, and plans on going and playing at the D1 level. Right now, Elk Grove District, the math courses, there are 40 math courses that's on the course catalog right now. Sheldon, out of those 40, Sheldon only has 31 approved by the NCAA. So there are 31 courses approved for Sheldon High School from NCAA. Out of those 31 courses, Sheldon only offers 16 of them. And of those 16 NCAA approved courses, 14 out of those 16 are above the Math 2 level. So the struggle is a lot of these student athletes, especially with learning disabilities, they are not able to successfully complete math beyond the Math 2 level. However, the high school, specifically Sheldon and others, are requiring Math 1, 2, and 3 and beyond in order to graduate and be able to play for NCAA. The district does not provide enrollment for math courses through Edgenuity. It used to be Apex, it's now Edgenuity. Unfortunately, the district doesn't provide the courses through Edgenuity for math, so students are not able to complete an approved alternative math course. If the parents want to sign them up, we have to pay for that. I'm not sure what the pricing is for Edgenuity because it's new this year, but for Apex, one course is $700. That is not okay when high school education should be free. So with that being said, I have reached out and I've been working with Mr. Murray, and he has a team of people that he's assembled together because I think it's very important to offer alternative classes that are within the Math 1 and Math 2 levels. So that class that I'm speaking of specifically is Problem Solving A. They're planning to and working together to make sure that Problem Solving A is implemented for terms 3 and 4 of this school year. That is imperative because 85%, I'm going to say that again, this is a fact, 85% of seniors on the Sheldon High School basketball team alone have had to drop Math 3 or have elected not to take it, including my son, had to drop out of it. He has a learning disability and he was not going to be successful in that class. With that being said, implementing problem solving is imperative. The difference in not only my son, but other student athletes to follow going to a JC or a four-year college depends heavily on this educational equity issue. I please implore you, I commend Mr. Murray and Ms. Ewing, Geraldine Ewing, and everyone who's working together, but this needs to be implemented because our seniors do not have any more time. Thank you.
Okay, Tara Martin.
Good afternoon. I've been coming here for your meetings the last couple of times, and so one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight is getting a resolution and time. Here's the story. Basically, when you guys or the school district or the schools rush into an expulsion and a suspension, doesn't take you guys very much time to do that. It takes you about 5 days tops for the meeting, everything. And what happens when you're on this expulsion highway, expelling primarily African American children at this large rate, there's accidents that happen when you're speeding down this highway. Some of the accidents that go on is not actually doing research. People get confused on may or shall. A lot of these things are happening, but in the meantime, what's happening is that once the issue has been resolved and you finally get all the information provided to you, the child that you have pushed them down this avenue is still suffering for it. So you will have a child sit there and they still have the scarlet letter, if you will, in their file. The teachers that are in the school, they're still looking at the kids like, oh, this happened to you, or you're a bad kid, because it's in their file. And that's still sitting there. And so even though I'm working with Mr. Murray and we have been doing a lot of things, and I appreciate that, I like to understand how long should it take to resolve some of these issues, because in the meantime, you have a child that's suffering through all of that. When you kind of rush down this and they're not allowed to participate with the school. So they're not taking classes. At Toby Johnson Middle School, if they have a 9-week semester and a kid has missed 5 days of school, that's a lot of time to try to make up. And then even if they are able to make it up, they're only given 50% of the credit. But when we find out that there was some confusion, oh, we didn't really do a proper investigation, we were confused versus may versus shall, the child is still suffering, see, because their grades are impacted by this at this point. Not to mention, when they're looking at their teachers every day, there's teachers saying, oh, anytime something happened, they're looking like, oh, well, you were suspended for this, but really, they shouldn't have been suspended for that, but now you're wanting to punish this child. So I just want to kind of come back to you guys is because although I like to think that I'm a patient person, if it only took you 5 days to jump on this highway and to do all of this, what's the holdup to resolving some of these issues? I understand time is very valuable here. However, this seems to be an ongoing thing. I mean, I just heard a couple of people sit here and talk about how long it's taking to resolve these issues. If you have kids and they're seniors and they're still waiting for something that maybe could be offered, I mean, we need to have a sense of urgency is what I'm saying. And I'm a little frustrated here because I feel that you guys are lacking a sense of urgency. I see the clock, but I want to make sure that I get my point out that I need you guys to be a little bit more aggressive with resolving issues for the children, just like you're aggressive when you push them down this highway when you're expelling them. Thank you.
Okay, Brett Bartley.
Mr. Superintendent, members of the board, good evening. My name is Brett Barley. I'm the brand new superintendent at the California Montessori Project. We are one of your authorized charter schools. I believe we were your first authorized charter school, and we've been in the district 15 years, Kathleen? 19 years. Wow, I undersold us by 4. The previous superintendent, Mr. Gary Bowman, retired at the beginning of the school year, so I've been on board since the beginning of the school year. If you haven't been out to visit our schools, we would love to invite you to come and see our school over on Bradshaw or on Elk Grove Boulevard, which is, gosh, we could walk there in 10 minutes. All told, we have about 500 kids in the Elk Grove Unified School District and attending our schools, and it's been just a wonderful first couple of months on the job. I started my career as a 4th grade teacher in a Title I school. Later moved to Nevada, was the deputy superintendent at the Nevada Department of Education before coming back to the Sacramento area to take on this role. Care deeply about equity, and it's something that we care about deeply at the California Montessori Project as well, making sure that all of our kids have access to a high quality Montessori education. One of the other commitments that I'm bringing to this role is to better inform all of you about things that are happening at the California Montessori Project. I can't remember, I don't know the last time you maybe saw our last superintendent here. I know Kathleen has been coming and participating in these meetings, but we want to be here to share the work that we're doing as frequently as we can. And moving forward, we hope to do that through public comment in less than a minute, in a minute or less. And we'll brand that cheesily as the Montessori Minute. So you can expect to see us as often as we can be here to give you a quick Montessori Minute update. And now I filibustered my way down to a minute and 10 seconds. And Kathleen is going to pilot, our principal from the Elk Grove campuses, our first Montessori Minute. So Kathleen?
So, hello. I just want to share with you some of the CMP Elk Grove highlights for the school year so far. Our students have participated in field trips to Camp Ocean Pines, the B Street Theater, Fog Willow Farms, FEA Nature Center, and experienced an on-site mad science field trip. Last month, we held one of our largest fundraisers, our annual Harvest Festival and our Scholastic Book Fair. And I'm excited to share that this month we're hosting our family movie night, Toy Story 4. So if you want to come out on Friday. Also this month, our children in 3rd through 8th grades are participating in the Scripps spelling bee. And we have held several parent information nights on our school counseling program as well as our PBS programs, PBIS programs. And in December, early December, we have our middle school information night. That's it.
15 seconds to spare. Thank you so much. Please come visit us. We look forward to working with you. Take care.
Okay, Jacqueline Davis.
Good evening, Superintendent Hoffman and board members. My name is Jacqueline Davis, and I'm here with my sisters. We're members of the Elk Grove Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and we're here to discuss and announce our GYMS program. The Delta GYMS is an expansion of continuation of Dr. Betty Shabazz Delta Academy. This program encourages participants to realize their dreams. The Delta GYMS framework encompasses scholarship, sisterhood, service, finance, and infinitely complete. This framework is executed through programming that includes African American history, literacy, service learning, disaster preparedness, and parents-empowered active children education. We call that our PEACE. The Delta GYMS program objectives include providing tools to achieve academic success, assist adolescent females in proper goal setting and decision making, to assist participants with planning their future, high school, and beyond, to create a compassionate, caring, community-minded young women through service. This program targets females ages 14 through 18 or 9th through 12th grade. Participants must attend a school in Elk Grove Alumni's Chapter Service Area, which is your district. The program meets the third Saturday of each month. The first meeting was held in September, and the final meeting concludes in May of the academic year. Just a little bit again. GYM stands for Growing and Empowering Myself Successfully. So we have different, like I said, we meet the second Saturday of each month. We have a component, I lost my train of thought. We have an academic component that we operate by. Economic development, which focuses on college and career educational development. Emergency preparedness, leadership, things like becoming Michelle Obama, social media information literacy, Black Girl STEM, physical and mental health, political awareness, human trafficking, and of course we have an end of the year celebration. We have participate in community programs such as the breast cancer march we did in September. We have a community service in this month of November feeding the less fortunate, the MLK March, and the Delta Days at the Capitol. We have speakers that come in such as Dr. Hazel Malone, Dr. Amanal Dorsey, and our sorority sister Tammy Turner, who is the lieutenant of the San Francisco Fire Department, came in this last Saturday and educated our young girls on safety awareness, things that they can carry over to their parents and in their community. So thank you for your time, and we'd like to encourage you all to reach out to your school announcements, your blast, your communication, the way you communicate with your high school students to introduce our program and to make all young girls aware that we're gladly taking members.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we leave some handouts with you all?
Yes, you did. You sure did.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
You got?
Yes, sir.
Need one more.
Sure can. I wrote on this one.
Okay, Ms. Lorraine Pryor.
Good evening, everyone. I feel like we haven't been together in so long. I'm kind of excited. We have some stuff to talk about. So first of all, I want to thank Shelley. I think she's the one who sent me some information regarding your hiring in the district, in the numbers and the aggregated data that I asked about. So I wanted to say thank you for that. And then I wanted to thank whoever is sending out the blast for the Cash for College. That's going out to the families, letting them know and making them aware of the different times and days and what the students need to be successful in going through that process. I wanted to thank whoever did that for that, because that's what I was asking for with the HBCU College Fair. So if we can keep up that momentum and we can make sure to get the HBCU stuff out just like that, and, telling the kids what they need to bring in order to be successful in getting admitted on the spot, that would be helpful. And then I wanted to talk about, so I had a chance to visit a few of your schools since we last seen each other. I had a chance to drop by one of your high schools and sit in on the campus security meeting that they invited me to. Apparently, folks think I'm good at advocating or something because your adults are calling me now, which is interesting. And what I observed in sitting in that room is that you have people in place that don't know how to talk to folks as if they are human beings. And when you sit up and you talk to folks as if they are not human beings, you get pushback, and then nobody wants to work with each other. And then that fallout ultimately impacts the children in which they are supposed to care for. So I don't know what type of class needs to be had where your administration learns how to talk to their campus security, but if somebody could look into that, that'd be great. I heard Tara Martin come up and she talked about a situation with her, and she was asking about or talking about the rush to judgment that some of your administrators go into. And so what type of program or type of class training are you all looking into to mitigate that? Because it's one thing for her to get up here and tell you about it, but it's something else to ask you specifically for what she wants. And so I want to know, what type of training are you going to implement for your administrators so that they are not rushing to judgment and negatively impacting the kids that they are supposed to be responsible for? And then I had a chance to drop by one of your middle schools. Apparently, the administration had been looking for me. They had been looking on the different school board meetings, and they said they hadn't seen me, and I had to explain to them that I hadn't been here because we hadn't had a meeting. But I'm encouraged by the response that I got on that campus. They want to do some work with us in terms of parent engagement, and so I'm looking forward to that. I just need y'all to stop being so quick to punish these kids. We got to start looking at stuff. Use your counselors or whoever was up here, your psychologists, and let's get some alternatives on the books. Thanks.
Okay, Toya Roberts.
Please forgive how I'm dressed today. I came right from the gym. Good evening, President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, Ms. Avalos. It's my first time addressing the board. My name is Toya Roberts. I have a 10th grader at Sheldon High School. I'm also a teacher in the district. I teach elementary school. I have a concern with math classes or math scheduling at Smedberg and Sheldon. When students leave elementary school, they're used to having math every single day for about an hour or so every day. My son entered Smedberg, 7th grade. He had math first term, which was August to October about, and then third term, so there was a gap. I attended a school site council meeting, and they presented SBAC data, and at that data, it was clear that there was an achievement gap, specifically with the students of color. I asked at that time why they didn't have something like Bridge. I know that Toby and Pinkerton offer Bridge classes, and I believe the response I received from Mr. Wall was there was a space issue possibly. 7 months later, my son was in 8th grade, so he had math 7th grade, third term, that ended in March. 8th grade, he didn't have math until second term, that was October. So it was about 7 months gap in math instruction. So he had math second term and his fourth term of 8th grade. He then enters Sheldon. He doesn't have math again, math 1, until January. So he didn't have math from the end of May until January, the start of his third and fourth term. I, like most parents, probably emailed the teacher. I may have gone a little bit over. I sat in on the instruction. I helped my student, my son. I also hold a math supplemental credential, so I know a little bit more than some parents that may not have that kind of experience. He passed. He's now 10th grade, math 2. He started Math 2 in August. So lucky for him, he went from Math 1 that ended in May right into Math 2 that began in August. It will end in December. He is still struggling. Again, I hold a math supplemental. He currently has a new teacher. I sat in on the class. I've emailed the teacher, and she has been wonderful. She held one study session for the very first test that they took, and she hasn't held any other. She said something like she was following the lead of her colleagues. So I don't know if that meant that her colleagues didn't have study sessions. I do know that the math tutoring after school is more of a homework help. I have told my son not to attend because I just feel more comfortable helping him at home with what I know. I have also kind of gone out of my way and I bought the books, which are not cheap. My question is, what are the number of students that are retaking math at Sheldon? What are the number of students of color that are retaking the math at Sheldon? How does Sheldon address closing the achievement gap in math and other subjects? So I'm not just here for my son, but I'm here for the other students that have had to retake or maybe retaking. I told my son that's not an option. We're going to figure this out. I never have seen a quiz or a test ever come home that he has taken, so it's hard for me as a parent to even help him with what he does not know. Math homework looks good, but the quizzes and tests is where most of these kids in high school fail. That's how they fail. Math test 50%, quiz 20%, grade drops.
Please wrap up.
Please consider looking at possibly how math is scheduled and how the classes are taught. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move to the consent agenda. Ms. Albioni?
I'd like to call for a motion to approve items 1 through 35 on the consent agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved by Ms. Sierra Espinoza.
Second.
Tony.
Second by Mr. Perez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we have any bargaining units any comments? Okay. Measure M, Oversight Committee Annual Report. Mr. Pierce?
Thank you, President Madison, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, Ms. Avalos. I will be brief, as this is actually not my report tonight, but I'm certainly pleased and honored to introduce the second annual Measure M Citizens Oversight Committee Annual Report. As the board is well aware, pursuant to Proposition 39, our electorate approved Measure M on November 8th, 2016 as an accountability measure for voters and taxpayers alike throughout our district. Education code mandates that all of the Measure M bond expenditures be reviewed and reported on by an independent Citizens Oversight Committee. And tonight's report represents the culmination of their hard work over the 2018-2019 fiscal year. Before I turn it over, I would be remiss if I didn't thank a few people. With that, I want to thank Susan Bell, who's your Chief Facilities Officer. Susan oversees all the planning and the construction affiliated with Measure M. I want to thank Mr. Eric Wally, who's our Facilities Accounting Manager, as well as Debbie Scott, who's our Facilities Accountant. They oversee all the budgeting, the expenditures, and the finance associated with Measure M. I, of course, want to thank Shannon Hayes, our Chief Financial Officer. She works alongside me as we administer all the planning and financial situations with regard to Measure M. And I want to thank Elise Chadwick. You also know her as 50% of her role as the Safe Routes to School Coordinator, but she's also the Facilities Outreach Coordinator, and she is the Secretary to the Measure M Citizens Oversight Committee. She does all the agendas, all the documentation, all the meeting notices, and meeting minutes. And last and certainly not least, and most importantly, I want to thank the committee members themselves. They are volunteers in this work. They take time away from their professional lives, their personal lives, and their families to diligently accommodate the district's needs in this role. They're very diligent in their work. They're very professional, and they are extremely dedicated. With that, I am going to invite Mr. John Shook to the podium, who will present the 2018-19 Annual Measure M Citizens Oversight Committee Report.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. President Madison, School Board, Superintendent Hoffman,
It's my pleasure to present our annual report from our Citizens Oversight Committee. I'd actually like the committee members that are here, if they can come up, if that's all right.
Please, come forward.
Danielle, Howard. So which, red button, top button? Okay. So our Oversight Committee, we spend a lot of time, we ask a lot of questions, and it's because we care about this school district. It's not the funnest thing to do in the school district, but it's something that has to be done. So we appreciate the opportunity to do that because we love our school district. So our annual report, our Citizens Oversight Committee, it's under Education Code Section 15278B. We inform the public on the expenditure of Measure M bond revenues and monitor the compliance with funding guidelines, review the annual independent performance audits of our bond funds, and we issue a report on these activities at least once a year, which that's what this is. This is our meeting dates. We meet 4 to 5 times a year. Measure M projects completed or under construction during this reporting period. We were at 33 elementary schools, 17 secondary schools, 1 alternative school, 1 administrative support facility. $36 million in Measure M funds was spent on critical improvements to existing school buildings and grounds. This is a list of the current projects at our elementary schools. As you can see, there's about 31 schools here on this list. And our secondary schools and other sites includes alternative school, Calvine High School, and the Elk Grove Unified School District Student Support Center. Completed projects for the elementary schools, Aletha Donner Elementary, John Earhart, Florin Elementary, Folks Ranch Elementary, Isabel Jackson Elementary, Ann Kitchgater Elementary, Herman Lembeck Elementary, David Reese, John Reith, Sierra Enterprise, and Union House Elementary Schools were completed projects. Our secondary completed projects for this in this year was Cosumnes Oaks High School, Harriet Eddy Middle School, Elk Grove High School, Florin High School, Franklin High School, Samuel Jackman Middle School, Laguna Creek High School, Monterey Trail High School, Pleasant Grove High School, Sheldon High School, and Valley High School. Boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? So the financial and performance audits found no incidences of non-compliance with the terms of Prop 39, the Measure M as approved by the voters, or the governmental auditing standards. Measure M funds were spent only for the specific projects developed by the Board of Education and approved by the voters. The committee is pleased to report the Elk Grove Unified School District is in full compliance with its responsibilities as described in the state of California. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Very good job. From the board, any questions from the board? Ms. Shires Espinoza?
Want to go first?
Well, I was just going to make a comment.
Okay.
It's good to have the report, John. Certainly could tell that you're a businessman. That was very succinct, and appreciate it. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Excellent, very clear report. And through my day job, I get the opportunity to see how this looks when things go wrong, when someone makes a mistake about how they're supposed to spend these funds, or when the accountability or the transparency are not there. So it's ironic, right? It seems uneventful sometimes when everything is working the way it's supposed to and everyone is working together for a common goal. But the work that you guys are doing and the time that you're giving to us and our community is so important in helping us keep that public trust that is central to everything that we want to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I just wanted to add my thanks. Nancy made a very good point. We want to do what's best for the kids, and we can't do it without help from people like you. And you provide that level that lets them trust us. So I truly appreciate it. And they're not the most exciting meetings, I imagine, but it is fun to see stuff get done, isn't it?
That's right. It's
Feels
fun to see.
good.
It's fun to see the end projects.
It
right?
really is.
And what our kids see at the schools.
So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, all of you. Makes me happy that things are going good with this, Measure M, and looking forward to starting other improvements within our schools to improve, the health and safety and environmental issues that we have in our schools. And I have a question. Does this also money, can we apply it for air conditioners too?
Yes.
Okay, yes, okay, that's what I thought, okay.
Yes. You need air?
Yes, yes. I won't say where, but I think it's next.
Window air conditioning.
Yes.
Dr. Martinez-Hilaire?
I'd just like to echo the comments. Thank you for your commitment and being involved with the committee work. I know sometimes, you're taking time out of your personal lives, and so we appreciate that. And I always say getting a full compliance report is a really good report to have. So looking forward to more future projects with the utilizing the Measure M funds for some of our future buildings and facilities. I think it's come a long way, and the report is very thorough. So thank you to the staff as well for helping with the preparing of the document and the committee members.
Yeah. Thank you.
John, we appreciate all your work. I think it's said from all the board members up here and the committee of your sacrifice and the overview. So we appreciate it, and we're happy for you to be with us.
It's our honor.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Pierce, you're up again. Environmental determination for the Rutter Park Swim Center renovation.
I am indeed. Thank you, Mr. Madison. Again, members of the board. The California Environmental Quality Act, as well as your own board policy 7160, require that environmental determinations be made on projects that may adversely affect the environment. The project that's before you tonight is a potential project, and it is the potential relocation and expansion of existing swim center at James Rutter Middle School, as well as various improvements to the existing Rutter Park and an extension of the Florin Creek multi-use trail. The Southgate Park and Recreation District is the lead agency on this project. However, the Elk Grove Unified School District is also a responsible agency because part of the project actually falls on your property. In September of 2019, a mitigated negative declaration was prepared for this swim center renovation project to consider the significant of potential project impacts in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act. During the investigation and the documentation process, 5 topic areas surfaced as the potential for significant impacts unless mitigations were incorporated into the project. Those measures have now been added to the project to reduce the possibility of these impacts to being at levels that are less than significant as defined by the California Environmental Quality Act. This document has been circulated for appropriate public comment. We also shared it with all interested parties. Comment letters were received from various agencies. Due to those comments, very minor updates and modifications were made to the document that's before you tonight. On October 1st, 2019, the Southgate Recreation and Park District Board of Directors passed Resolution 1915, adopting the initial study, the mitigated negative declaration, the response to all comments, and last but not least, the mitigation monitoring program that would be built into the project. Adoption of these documents by our board tonight would complete the environmental review of the project under CEQA. I do want to share again with the board that this is a potential project. Right now it is contingent on receiving funding through Proposition 68. That was a joint effort by Southgate Park and Recreation District staff as well as our own staff. Audrey Russick, who's our grant writer, was instrumental in working with staff at Southgate. So we're excited about that. The partnership continues. We look forward to hearing the results of that grant application. I'm lucky enough to have some more guests here tonight. So behind me is Ward Winchell, who's the general manager of Southgate Recreation Park District. We also have 2 directors with us tonight, Miss Christine Thompson and Miss Lisa Diltz. They're both here in support of the resolution that's before you, and obviously as well as the project itself. So we look forward to that. be happy to answer any questions you might have on the document or the project overall.
No questions? No questions?
I just had a comment. I know this is something the community is looking forward to, and we
Yes.
appreciate the partnership. So I just wanted to make those comments because I know the facility is very important to the community members, and looking through the plans of the way things will be laid out, it looks really forthcoming. So I'm hopeful with the grant.
That part of the project has been very rewarding. The staff at Southgate Recreation and Park District did a great job at outreach. We had hundreds upon hundreds of community comments associated with the project, and it really affected the overall project in terms of what we initially had planned. It made wholesale changes to the ultimate plan that was submitted for the grant. So that's been a very rewarding process, and it is truly important to that community.
In honor of my years as a planning commissioner, thank you for allowing me to relive CEQA.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, but I also wanted to echo Dr. Martinez-Valeri's comments that, we appreciate your presence here today, and we very much appreciate your partnership with our district and serving our mutual constituents. So with that, I'd like to
Thank you.
move.
Well, I'll read go ahead, a motion to adopt Resolution 27, adopting the initial study mitigated negative declaration, response to comments, and the mitigation monitoring program for the Rutter Park and Swim Center renovation.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I was first. Dr. Martinez-Valeri was
Dr.
second.
Martinez, yeah. was a
Thank you.
second. Thank you, Rob. Okay, we want to establish an annual organizational meeting for the Board of Education on the provision of Education Code 35143. The governing board is required to set an annual organization meeting between December 13th and December 27, 2019. The day and time of the annual meeting are to be selected by the board at its regular meeting held immediately to the first day of this 15-day period. So I want to call for a motion to establish the organizational meeting for the Board of Education on Tuesday, December 17th, 2019 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom of the Educational Center.
So moved.
It's moved by Ms. Sheriff Espinoza.
Second.
Second by Crystal. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Right. Okay, board members, superintendent support. Superintendent, any? Okay, no committee? Ms. Okay, Ms. Albiani? No, I'm good. Mr. Perez? No. Okay, just a few comments from myself. We had a meeting with the Elk Grove Community Scholarship Foundation a few weeks ago, and we're working on a new website to give much more information and become more user-friendly. So, and hopefully I think that'll be out the first of the year that they're working on. Right, Santi? Yeah, keep our fingers crossed. That's what we want. And we're in the process of we're hiring an individual to assist, to help us grow our additional scholarships from some major corporations. So that person will be notified as well. You'll know about the person that we hire on that. That's been a few years in the making. It has been, and it's been a challenge. Okay, other items from the floor. Mr. Forcina.
Yeah, I have three, and I'll go quickly. First of all, you heard Rod a few hours ago talk about tomorrow morning's event here. And as a proud grandparent, my Jacob Couchot is going to be signing tomorrow morning to play NC2A lacrosse. So really excited about that.
Fantastic. If you haven't, I have gone to them, as Ms. Forcina indicated, because I've had grandkids that I've attended 6:30 in the morning, but it was well worth it, and being a grandpa, so I feel you on that one. That's a good one. It's an honor to be there, and I'm sure you'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Thank you.
Secondly, Monday, Veterans Day, I went to Laguna Creek High School. Bob Harworth is the coordinator of the Manufacturing Production Technology Academy. And Rob was there with 3 of their business partners, along with about 75 students and parents, as they were completing 2 of the small houses that they built that are put on church grounds for homeless veterans. And the program is really a stellar program. It was just really great to see parents and community volunteers as well as students come out on Veterans Day to do that. There was also a couple of homeless veterans that also participated that are in transitional housing now, and they spoke to the value of the tiny homes to help them get off the street. And then we heard from the women from, excuse me, from the sorority talk about activities for women, and we heard about the importance of women in cybersecurity. Saturday, I was at ABC, the Associated Builders of NorCal. They had a craft competition in the areas of electrical and carpentry, painting, plumbing on Saturday. The president and CEO of ABC is a woman, and her name is Michelle Doherty. And Michelle has been doing a lot of work speaking at different events in schools about the importance of women in the trades. And she has offered to come to any of our career days. I've already spoken to a couple principals. I will let Craig have her name also, so as a general notification. But it was really a great activity, and it certainly would be great to have her come and speak. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Albioni? Yes, Doctor.
I just had a item. Consumnes River College will be hosting their Native American Heritage Week next week on Tuesday the 19th, 20th, 21st, and Wednesday the 20th. They'll be having Native American dance groups along with educational vendors out on the quad. So they'll have colleges local here, and also hopefully some Indian education programs. They'll be having tabling out there, and that will start, I believe, at 11 o'clock, and it'll go till 3 o'clock. They'll be giving away free Indian fry bread. So I just wanted to mention that. And Tuesday, there will be a blessing from the elder in Wilton Rancheria, followed by a presentation on California Indian history by myself and the education coordinator from Wilton Rancheria, Dalton Brown. And then it'll follow with flute making on that Tuesday. So I just wanted to let everybody know it's open to the public, and anybody can attend those events as well.
Thank you. I just want to make a couple of comments as well to follow up Ms. Fortuna, the Delta sorority that was here tonight. I had the opportunity, I did attend a chili cook-off at Elk Grove Park, raising money, foundation for the young women of color, and it was a really nice event. It was last Saturday, I believe. Yeah, I was there. So I just want to bring that up. It was well attended. And also, I want to mention, I didn't get a chance to attend, but I know it was a good Veterans Day. I talked to the superintendent about it. Kinney Elementary School was just fantastic. They do nice things every year. So Dr. Graywell, I want you to pass that on. It did a fantastic job out there to honor the veterans out there.
Yeah, I got good press coverage.
Yes, yes it did. So I just, yeah, it was very well done. So with that, we will adjourn the meeting at 20:15 hours. Thank you.